Brian Maka, I'm a EIS officer at Authority. Thank you. The next thing on the program, welcoming remarks from the university, and at this juncture, I will call
coming late when it's raining. Remember, these are our prospective employers, so please, we should try to work on time. I wish to speak on behalf of the university and of course the Department of Natural Resources. I would like to extend our sincere appreciation coming later in training. Remember, this is timely purposeful engagement employers, so please, under the theme creating which will try to work on times. I wish to speak on the side of the university. This engagement comes natural research from to extend our sector sincere appreciation, steadily progressing. Remember, this is timely purposeful engagement, so please, under the theme creating which will try to work on times. But also environmental stewardship requires responsibility. This engagement comes naturally from our professional sector. Sincere appreciation, steadily progressing. The department is estimating the recommendation by programs under the theme requires change of expertise. But also environmental stewardship requires responsibility. Activities that have been professionals played in the other sector, especially when it comes to the process where the responsibilities that natural resources are a priority, and of course knowledge and networking opportunities that are being provided to you at this moment. This is your only chance that you have to ensure that you align your academic journey with the natural development priorities that we have. As a department, and of course the university, our commitment to ensure that we support the initiatives that are being put forward by the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. We will continue to mobilize our students and of course to collaborate closely with our stakeholders, and of course in this case Petroleum Authority. And as I conclude, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to assure the authority that our readiness, we have our readiness to support you in hosting and participate participating in more of these career guidance seminars anytime that you call for them. We actually look forward to having an impactful session with you and a very fruitful engagement. I wish to thank you all, and I wish us nice deliberations. I owe you. I would wish to also mention to you that our management is not here. They would have loved to be here, the VC and his team. But unfortunately, we have staff on management who lost their father, so they want to condole with them. So they really send their greetings and they are happy to be here. We would also wish to appreciate you for the partnership that you're continuously having with us. And we really don't take that for granted. Thank you.
Thank you, our head of department. So now the next thing on the program is presentations from the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. And take the floor. A big thunderous hand clap as we welcome our officials from BAO from the authority. You're highly welcome.
Thank you very much, Edwin. You said you're Edwin? Edwin, thank you very much. We are really, really glad to be with you this morning. So please, if you know your colleagues, classmates, friends who are supposed to be here, please reach out to them and tell them we've started and they're missing out. As I introduced myself, my name is Gloria Serikari. I work with the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. I am not a geoscientist, but I've worked for the last 15 years in the energy sector. So just to know who is in the room, I would like to know how many of you are doing geoscience courses or engineering? All of you. Are there any non-geoscientists or non-engineers here? Eh? Okay, sorry.
Thank you. I think I should have mentioned that. Right now, the members present are those offering petroleum and minerals geoscience. However, we have some other members offering environment management who are also registered and also wildlife resources management. But I think they are delayed. However, they will be joining in. I would also wish to mention to you that I have my colleagues, Isaac, and of course, Mr. Kade, and they'll be with us for our session. Thank you.
Thank you for that clarity. So it's good to have you here. It's rare that I speak to geoscientist students, so it's a pleasure for us to be here. As we mentioned, these seminars are a way of us interacting with the students and also the leadership of the university, mainly to give back, to share what we've learned over our careers. We are not here to offer jobs. How many of you are in your final year? Yeah, a few of you. We are not here to offer jobs, but we are here to help you enrich your skills and your employability. Does that make sense? Yes? Yeah, so we have a presentation. So I'm going to start off the presentation on the oil and gas sector, and then my colleagues will come in and speak about their careers. Some of them are geoscientists, some of them are in IT, and some of us are not, but we are working in a geoscience field. So if you have your friends, your sisters, your cousins who are not working who are not studying geosciences or engineering, there are also opportunities outside that within the energy sector. So I'll briefly introduce oil and gas, so I won't take much on this since most of you are in that field. Then talk about our projects, the oil and gas projects in Uganda, the opportunities and benefits in terms of impact, global outlook, and then we look at the career journey. So when we are talking about oil and gas, to put it into context, oil and gas is a source of energy, is a non-renewable source of energy, but we also have renewable sources of energy. Who can tell me what a non-renewable source of energy is? Anyone? Yes, I see your hand is progressing.
Good morning. Non-renewable sources of energy are those that can be exhausted and not reused.
Thank you, that is true. They are exhaustible, they get finished and they don't regenerate. So oil and gas is one of those. And as the Petroleum Authority, we are directly under the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development that handles the other renewable sources of energy, like the sun, where we get solar energy, like water, where we get dams to produce electricity and the like. So that is one key characteristic of the oil and gas sector. It is non-renewable. Secondly, it is what we call the revenue that we get from oil and gas, the money that comes in, is volatile. Volatile means sometimes the prices are high, like now, and sometimes they are low. And because of that, countries with oil and gas resources must make sure they get as much value. And this value is not only in terms of money, but the bigger part of the value is in terms of the jobs, the skills that come out, but also how it impacts other sectors of the economy. So that's why oil is important. It is exhaustible, it gets finished, but its benefits can outlast it as a source of energy. So I thought I would just emphasize that. So in Uganda, the key institutions managing the oil and gas sector are three. We have the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, which mainly oversees policy, promotes investment and licenses. Then we have us, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. We are the regulators. So it means that when companies come, when they get licenses from the ministry, our work is to monitor and make sure that they are doing what they are supposed to do in line with our laws, our regulations, and best practice. The third key institution is the Uganda National Oil Company. Who has heard about the Uganda National Oil Company? Or you know? Okay. I'll ask the gentleman at the back, what do you know about UNOC? What is not on the slide?
Good morning.
Yes. Please say your name.
My name is Karunda Ashi.
Yes.
What I know about UNOC is they monitor the structures of the oil industry.
That is not their major role. Yes, they monitor, but the main role of Petroleum Authority is to monitor. Anyone has a different answer?
Good morning.
Morning.
The main role of the Uganda National Oil Company is responsible for marketing oil and gas.
Yes, ish. So you know, so oil and gas is a business sector. So that means the country is in it also to make money from the different projects. So UNOC is like the business arm of government. They are the commercial arm. So where we are supposed to receive some of the oil, some of the money, UNOC does that. Also UNOC is also now in charge of bringing in petroleum products, the ones we get from the fuel stations. So that's another major role of UNOC. So those are the 3 key entities in the sector. In terms of, that's on the side of government. But because I mentioned that oil and gas is a business sector, it requires a lot of investment. We work closely with private sector. A lot of the work that is done by private companies. And when we are talking about oil and gas, I think you all know the petroleum value chain, upstream, midstream, downstream. Yes? So upstream, we have the companies that are looking for oil to produce the oil. And we have UNOC, we have Total Energies, Sinnoc Uganda, and UNOC again. Those are the companies that are developing the oil for us to have it come out of the ground. So those are upstream. So when the oil comes out of the ground, we have to commercialize it, meaning that we have to turn it into products that we can use in our everyday life. Or we have to sell the crude oil at the international market. And that is where the midstream segment comes in. So there we have the East African Crude Oil Pipeline Company, and we have the refinery that will process the crude oil. Are we still together? Yes? Some energy. Are we still together? Good. So we have companies that work to produce the oil, and then we have companies that work to transport, either to sell it, to transport the oil as crude, or will refine it in the country to get the products we use at the petrol stations in our everyday life. So this is what we regulate. These are the companies that we work with. How is this relevant for you as a student? You're required to do internship, you're required to do research, you're looking for jobs after, and often we get a challenge that a lot of the time people are looking at maybe only PAU, UNOC, ministry. But we have other players that we work with in the sector that's broad. And even when you go further, now, again, how many of you have been to the field? Please, straight, hi. Yeah, it's good to see that quite a number of you have been to the field, because we do get a number of requests from different universities, including Nkumba. What is important, someone mentioned that they saw the pipes, they saw the work going on in Marshall Falls at the different well pads. Where is Edwin? The other, sorry, I didn't catch the names. You interacted with the project affected persons. Now, you saw the homes where the project affected persons stay, the replacement homes. Those are built by other companies. You see the rigs that are being used to drill the wells. Those are what we call contractors. So that's why this slide is very important. We've had over 1,000 companies working, doing different things in the sector. From drilling, from doing the land survey to know where the pipeline will pass, to constructing those well pads to know that they will be suitable to have a rig or a central processing facility. It's important for you to know, as you look for your gateway, how to enter into the oil and gas industry. Don't always look at PAU, ministry. There are 1,000 companies that have worked in the sector and are doing work even in other sectors of the economy. So for example, if you've done geoscience or in environment engineering or something to do with waste management, these are courses that are relevant beyond oil and gas. So when you work with a contractor, one day you'll be working in oil and gas, tomorrow you may be working on a construction project, you may be working in water. So what is important? You need to know who are these contractors so that you're able to look beyond government, look beyond Total for the jobs, for the internships, for the trainings. And this is also important because there are limited number of opportunities, but the skills that you get can be used even in other sectors of the economy. So to our projects, when we talk about the fact that we have oil in Uganda, we have projects that are being developed for us to produce the oil. What is important is to know that it has been a long journey. The first discovery was made in 2006. Now it's 20 years later, we have the projects on ground getting ready to start production. So a lot of work went on between those 20 years. We have 21 oil and gas discoveries. Right now, we know how much oil we have, about 6.65 billion barrels of oil in place. But of that, we can only recover about 1.6 billion barrels. And how are we going to produce this oil? How are we going to produce and commercialize this oil? We are going to do this through 4 key projects, and that is what I would like to show on this map. So, the first project to produce oil is the Tilenga project. Who can quickly say where the Tilenga project is located? Yes.
My name is Amam Hatokde. Year 2 student, second semester. Yeah. The Tilenga project is located at the Albertine Graben in Oima district in Lake Albert. Thank you.
Yes, Albertine Graben. No, it's not Hoima district. It's partly, but I'll explain. Please go ahead.
My name is Isaka Jeremiah, third year student, and the question that is asked, the Tilenga project is located in Bulisa district.
Yeah. Any other districts? Anyone knows any other district? Okay. So the Tilenga project is the first project where oil will be produced. It has a number of fields, oil and gas fields. So they are together, they make up the Tilenga project. So the fields are located in Bulisa and Noya district. In Noya district, it's mainly within Makshon Falls National Park. That's very important for the people, especially doing environment and biodiversity related studies. So that's the first project. But also my sister is a bit right when she says Koima district, though it's not the major location. Part of the facilities for this Tilenga project, if you see, oops, put a line. Okay. What I wanted to explain is that the Tilenga project has well pads and wells where the oil will be produced. When the oil is produced, it's transported and collected at a central processing facility that will be within Bulisa district. So the central processing facility cleans the oil, because when it comes out it has water, gas, blah blah blah. So all those products are separated. And then the crude oil will be transported to where the East African crude oil pipeline starts. So there will be a feeder pipeline that will run from Bulisa up to Hoima as part of the Tilenga project. So Hoima is correct, but it's not the primary area where the Tilenga project. It will host part of the 95-kilometer feeder pipeline that will run to this area in yellow. If you see this area in yellow, where we'll have the refinery and the start of the East African crude oil pipeline. The second project is the Kingfisher project. It will have similar facilities. Kingfisher is located down here south of Lake Albert, where you see this second circle. The Kingfisher project is located in Chikube district, but its facilities run across Chikube and Hoima district. The costs of the projects are there. Why this is important? These are the single largest projects that the country has had, and I could even say the East African region, though there are other gas projects in Tanzania and the like. But for Uganda, these are the largest projects in terms of investment value to the country. Then when oil is produced from Tilenga and Kingfisher, it will be transported via the 1,400 kilometer Kingfisher project that runs from Hoima up to Tanzania, down here at the East African coast. So it's a $5 billion project that is now 82% complete. Then the Uganda refinery will also be located in Kabalega Industrial Park, which is located in Hoima. So we'll have a small break and watch this video that gives us, for those who haven't visited,
In the heart of East Africa, Uganda is on a transformative journey to develop its oil and gas resources responsibly and sustainably.
opportunities, there are jobs available. So we have close to 20,000 people directly employed, and over 85% of these are Ugandans, and in management, in technical and in support roles. So we are not only looking at Ugandans employed at the lower levels, but we are seeing Ugandans also climbing to being part of management of these operations. So we have close to 20,000. The other area is industrialization. And earlier I spoke about the Kawalega industrial where the refinery is and Uganda, so we are not international, looking at Ugandans, and then now we have also the Hoima city, but we are seeing Ugandans also climbing. So industrialization is very important, even when we talk about 20,000, the other area not many jobs, but if earlier I spoke about position our oil and gas sector, for example, to grow the petrochemical-based industries, so a lot of jobs looking at education and skills required for those industries. The industries that produce some of our fertilizers come from petroleum base. The byproducts that are used to make our roads come from petroleum. The clothes that you wear, many of you wear things, clothes with some of the parts from our laptops, these projectors and screens come from the byproducts of oil and gas. So when I say that there are not many direct jobs in oil and gas, do not get very scared and say, why am I studying petroleum geoscience? The important thing, and what has been shown from experience from other countries, is that oil and gas is a catalyst for other sectors and a catalyst for industrial growth. So as you go out there, as you build your career, you have to know, it's important for you to know the different pathways for you to use the academic qualifications that you are acquiring. The other key area of benefit is use of locally produced goods and services. One of the areas we regulate is national content, where we want to see Ugandans actively participating in giving services, providing goods to the operations. And so we document through the way we review the contracts that are going out and the like. And to date, close to $2.2 billion worth of contracts have gone to Ugandan companies. The other important area of benefits is what we call local economic and social development. We are seeing growth, especially in the Bunyoro region and also areas along the pipeline. Growth that has been accelerated by oil and gas. For those who have been there, if you had gone there, let's say 10 years ago, vis-a-vis what it is today now, it's totally different. The town has grown, the infrastructure has grown, the roads, we have modern bridges, and all these are important for the everyday person. They do not only transport the pipes and the rigs that you saw, but they also help the farmers take their produce. They also help people access hospitals. They help the students going to school to do it in a shorter time. They help businesses have lower costs. The other benefits are related to the projected revenues when we start production, the tax contribution of oil and gas to our economy, all this money that comes in from those oil companies, the 1,000 contractors that I've talked to, goes to fund our budget, goes to fund our roads, goes to fund our health centers, goes to support the public education system that we are part of. And so these are some of the indirect benefits that come from the oil and gas sector. The other important area that I spoke about was the linkages with other sectors of the economy. Oil and gas has potential to actually now we are seeing the oil and gas boosting other sectors, agriculture. When you went to the field, I think you saw some of the camps if you went to the central processing facility. All these 20,000 people working on these projects have 3 to 4 meals a day. You know, that is food. A lot of that food is sourced from the community through the different contractors that are brought on board. Tourism. when we have people coming into the project areas, we encourage them, for example, those that go into Makshon Falls, spend some time, do a boat ride, you know, visit some of the cultural museums. And so that is how oil and gas is also boosting the other sectors of the economy. Health, manufacturing, education. I talked of the courses here in the country, the international certification that is now present. And so it's important for us to always think beyond the immediate benefit when we are talking about oil and gas. We don't only think about government earning money, but also the tangible benefits that come as a result of the sector. These projects are also being developed in community areas. So we are alive to the fact that it's important that the communities where these projects are being developed do also progress alongside the project. So this next video shares something about the community benefits. One of us talked about their interaction with the project affected persons when they went to the field. And that is very important because in the end, these projects will only be successful if they have acceptance from the communities. So,
in Uganda's oil and gas journey, the citizens and communities are partners in progress. Across the country, lives in Uganda's oil and gas journey, the citizens and communities are partners in progress. Across the country, lives are being transformed through improved infrastructure, access to services, and new opportunities for growth. The Petroleum Authority of Uganda ensures that the oil and gas developments are inclusive. The livelihoods of households directly affected by acquisition of land for project activities have been improved through targeted resettlement, compensation, and livelihood restoration programs.
Okay, are we still together? Okay. I welcome those who joined us. Your colleagues who came earlier got a small gift. So I hope next time you will also keep time. Isn't it? My backbenchers? Okay. So, what are the employment opportunities? I know I have talked a lot about saying that jobs are not many, but they are there. And it's important to get ready for them. So we did what we call a workforce skills development study and an industry baseline study before the projects were off the ground. And these are some of the careers that were mapped out with the most predicted number of jobs. Of course, most of them have already passed, so people are already working. And you may ask the question, so what next for you who are still studying? Importantly, we still have projects that are yet to reach their peak, like the refinery project. So the refinery is still in the final stages of the technical and commercial studies before the actual construction works can start. So the refinery is a key area of opportunity. We have the exploration projects. Much as we talk about oil that we have discovered in Uganda, we have potential. The current projects that we are developing through Tilenga, Kingfisher, and even the new exploration projects take up about 15% of the area with potential for oil and gas. So UNOC is undertaking exploration. CNOC is also planning to undertake more exploration. So if we find more oil, which is highly likely, that means the projects, the lifespan of the projects will also be extended. So these are not, much as these are not the only carriers, much as we've reached the peak for the current projects, there is still more to come. And so everything I talked about still applies even as we
From Uganda, the Pearl of Africa, a powerful story is unfolding, one of opportunity and transformation. Uganda's oil and gas journey is driven by its people. Through national content development, the Petroleum Authority of Uganda ensures that Ugandans remain at the forefront of this journey. To date, Ugandan companies have secured contracts worth over $2.2 billion, representing nearly 30% of all contracts awarded. The national supply says over 2,300 Ugandan companies, connecting them to sector opportunities and demonstrating Uganda's growing competitive capacity. Employment in the sector has done 50,000 jobs with held by Ugandans. More than 14,000 Ugandans have acquired globally recognized technical skills
are still using charcoal and firewood, which is even has more implications. And so for us as a country, as government, as a sector, that focus now is on promoting things like clean cooking, promoting the transition from use of firewood to maybe using electricity, using gas, and making these more accessible. And when we have our oil and gas resources, they also play a big role in this by providing revenue for us to develop other renewable forms of energy. I also talked about the petrochemical industry. You cannot stop production of oil and yet you do not have a source for, let's say, aviation fuel. We've not heard of electric aeroplanes. We've heard of electric cars even in Uganda, but are they affordable for us, the everyday person? The other products that come out of oil, the bottles, the chairs, the clothes, etc., there is no replacement. And so oil is still very much relevant, and that is why Uganda and other countries around the world, in Africa and out of Africa, are pursuing their oil and gas projects aggressively. So I think that's it from me. I will conclude by saying that we are privileged to have our oil and gas resources. They are offering opportunities and benefits to us as a country. Most of these opportunities may be one for the country, and so we must make the most of them. We do encourage you to take up the training opportunities, information sharing opportunities. We do have the Oil and Gas Skills Expo coming up, and we do hope that Nkumba will participate. The invitations are coming your way. Register on the National Oil and Gas Talent Register. My colleague Lambert Okurut has joined us. He's in charge of the database. If you want to interact with him after this seminar, please feel free. We encourage you to remain knowledgeable, not just for yourself as getting a job or a training, but also as a Ugandan, as an East African, as an African. We need to understand the importance of oil and gas. We need to understand what we are doing as a country to make sure that we get as much value, so that when you come face to face with some negative voices, you have the information, or you can redirect them to where the information is. So this information is good for you as a Ugandan, as an African, as an East African, but also good for you as a young person as you grow your career. Thank you very much. So before, yes, over to you. We can take a few questions related to the oil and gas projects, and then we will go into the session for the career talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Naukali. I will request that we give a round of applause, a very hand clap to our presenter, Madam Semikari, for that great presentation that he has made in regards to career development about the sector. So, how are we? Are we following? Are we following? Hello, team. Are we following? I have a set of questions that I'm going to shoot to the audience. And they will be taking only 3 seconds, and I want answers from you to check whether you're following up with what she has been sharing. Hello? So the first question goes, how many regulatory areas are under the docket of power? 1, 2, 3. There are 5 dockets. The second question goes, which power regulatory area ensures that all Ugandans are entitled to participate in oil and gas industry in Uganda? Yes.
It's national content.
What was the answer? Yes, she's right. She's right, he's right. Okay. The next question goes, how many oil discoveries have been made by Uganda? How many oil discoveries have been made by Uganda? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
I think there are 6.
No, there are 21. Another question, how many oil fields are operated by Total Energies? Uganda, how many oil fields are operated by Total Energies, Uganda? Speak loud, yeah?
Okay, like the 426 wells.
I'm not saying about the wells, I'm saying about the oil fields. Not the wells, but the oil fields.
The oil fields are 6.
Thank you, he's right. So the last question.
If you don't clap, you're jealous. You clap.
The last question, which regulatory area of BAU ensures compliance over back their expenditures, ensure Uganda is not cheated? Which regulatory area of BAU ensures company recovers back their expenditures, ensure that Uganda is not cheated? Which regulatory area of BAU ensures company recover back their expenditures, ensure Uganda is not cheated?
Cost monitoring.
He's right, thank you. So it shows that we are following up the session. So the next thing on our agenda is the Q&A session. So I will take 3 questions from the audience. The first 3.
Let's get an icebreaker.
An icebreaker from Mr. Isaac.
Thank you very much, Edwin. Me, I'm a loud talker. So let's activate the energy in the room. Please, can you stand up? Wherever you are. Okay. By now, you should have enough space to stretch. How many of you can spell power with your waist? Oh, let's try that. Let's try and see. I hope this is not live. Where I can see. Okay. I always love doing it the easy way to trigger childhood memories. But I think the best thing we'll do is let's sing that old song, Head, Shoulders, Knees and Toes. And please be careful not to knock your head on the seat in front of you. Okay, let's go. Who is going to lead us? I need one person good with nursery rhymes. From the tall gentleman, please come. The tallest guy, that is the disadvantage you get. Come over, please. Thank you. Yeah, he's going to take us through that. We'll talk about the head, shoulders, knees, and toes. Let's make it short. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Introduce yourself. And you're going to sing to us the head, shoulders, knees, and toes, and you should demonstrate. Thank you. Okay. You don't know, but it will be fun doing it together. Okay. Are we ready? Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You got pen. Knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. And the rest I don't know. Okay, mouth and nose. Thank you very much. What did you learn today? Thank you. So, as we prepare for the next session, clap you for yourselves. And the team from PAO, thank you very much. This is a great team. And I think the energy levels are back. Edwin, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you for the icebreaker. And the next thing on our session is the Q&A session. So I'm going to take 3 questions from the audience. Questions from the audience. Okay, that is 1, 2.
My question is about the National Oil and Gas Talent Register. When you are registering, there is a section where they ask for a NIN number. So for people that don't have NIN numbers, because you can't go through minus a NIN number, how is this catered for?
Yes, my name is Wakurash Roy, a third-year student doing Bachelor of Science in Petroleum and Mineral Science. I came a little bit late, but I got the session was on energy transition. One of the person who was talking about the energy transition talked about clean energy. What I mean by that, like maybe clean cooking. Now I wanted to ask how will government be in a way that, because now most of when you see Ugandans, we are not that much well off. We are still doing with these, charcoal, other things. But now, like, we are trying to upgrade to a cleaner energy. We are trying to transition to a cleaner energy. How will Uganda make sure that? How will Uganda, like the Ugandan government, make sure that those clean energy are affordable to the people of Uganda? That's all I wanted to ask.
Yes, any other question? So the fact that I'm the MC, I'm going to shoot also 2 questions to our officials of PAO, and the first one goes that usually after the course, after graduating, and we start the job search race, they always tend to trust more international certifications. In this case, I'm talking about API codes, I'm talking about NIBOSH, to the extent that we are left, the graduates are left aside. Actually, to your supplies, only government entities, UNOC, PAO, and they are the only ones that always consider Ugandan the university transcript. And yet, when these training certifications are always advertised, they always consider people from Bulisa, putting aside the graduates. So it's always hard, especially after graduating, because they tend to trust more. For example, a NIBOSH diploma is equated to a Ugandan degree. So there is a way we are put aside, especially in the job search race after graduation. Then the next thing that we are facing is SPE is a good partner to PAO, and the biggest challenge that we are facing as a student body is financing. So if there is any way of having maybe ambassadors, student ambassadors on the project, maybe they can try to mediate between the university and the university and the body. Even it makes us come closer to the industry. Let me give you a story. There is a time a student body went to Buddhista to visit for a site visit, but they were stopped at a distance. They had to see the rig at a distance. And expect this student to have an innovation of something that he didn't see. There was some distance. So these are the kind of the insights I'm shooting to you, our officials from PAO. That's it. We can take the move from PAO. I'm sure they are talking about that.
Okay, thank you so much for the questions. The one on the National Oil and Gas Talent Register, Lambert will respond. On the energy transition, when we talk about clean energy, it comes with a cost. And so how will this, or is this being made more affordable? That is a very important point. The Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development is in charge of the clean cooking or the access to energy program. There are a number of programs that have been put in place to reduce the cost of accessing, let's say, electricity. One of them that I can give an example is what we call the Electricity Scale Up Project, where the project is subsidizing the cost of accessing electricity for households in villages. And so they have different programs going across the country to help households get connected to the electricity grid. So those projects are there. And that is why we are seeing an increase in the access to electricity for the country, especially in rural areas. So these programs will continue. It's about subsidizing the cost, for example, for bringing a pole near your home or for you to connect to the nearest pole. The specific thing you talked about, issue you talked about on clean cooking, when you look at our energy transition plan, one of the strategies highlighted by government for us to see a shift from use of firewood and biomass is clean cooking. Because the fact is that you'll find that even people in very big houses or in nice apartments have their sigiri at the back of the house. So many of us are still reliant on firewood and charcoal for household use. So the first step is not to tell people, government is not telling people, stop using charcoal, stop using firewood. What is being done is development of technologies that, for example, make charcoal burn longer, like clean cooking stoves. These stoves help you in a way that if you, instead of using, let's say, a bag of charcoal in 10 days, or a bag of charcoal in a month, it can last for 3 months if you invest in these efficient stoves. They call it efficient stoves. The other is developing, the next level is developing technologies like briquettes that are more environmentally friendly. So there are different programs that are helping households to transition. We recognize that it will be unrealistic to tell people stop using charcoal all at once, and yet it's not affordable. The other area is making gas, household gas, available. In Uganda and many African countries, there's a negative perception. People fear gas. But personally, I'll tell you, I grew up in a house where we used gas for cooking, and we never had any accidents. So there's a lot of sensitization to make people understand that gas is safe, it's more health friendly for households, and it's the cost is, I use gas in my home, so the cost actually keeps going down year after year. There is a program for distribution of free gas cylinders. I think it's targeting either 1 million or 2 million free gas cylinders, and some of these, I know there's a company that's going to start manufacturing these in the country. All this is meant to reduce the cost of using cleaner fuel. And in our oil and gas projects, when oil is produced, it comes out with gas. And so some of the facilities being developed are facilities to transform the gas into what we call LPG, liquefied petroleum gas, which is cooking gas. So it's not one strategy to help us transition or to help us use better technologies, but there are a number of initiatives that are all being spearheaded by the ministry to make these technology is more affordable, but also more accessible to the public. After graduation, the international certifications. Yes, this was a challenge of reliance more on international certification, but we progressively worked with the different universities, through the Oil and Gas Trainers Association, through the Higher Education Licensing Board, to make sure that what is being taught matches with what is required in the industry. And now I'll tell you that most of the adverts that come out for graduate trainees and entry-level jobs do not have those requirements. They are jobs, because we work in a global industry and international sector, certain jobs and certain trades will require the international certifications, but not all of them. A lot of the adverts that I put in the slides, for their trainees, also for, I think this one for Total was looking for 3 graduate trainees and internship. Those do not require those international certifications. Even there's a job, I think, that SINOC advertised this week for a trainee, a reservoir engineer trainee, with just a degree, a completed degree from a recognized university, and that doesn't require. So we have, what the industry has done is to classify the jobs that need those international certifications, but the jobs that do not need are also there and they are advertised. So do not be discouraged. Look at the adverts carefully and do not be afraid of putting yourself out there or applying. It gives you the experience of applying for the job, but also going through the process if you're shortlisted. Internship jobs, internship opportunities do not need you to have completed your degree, but graduate trainee positions need you to have completed. Thank you. I'll invite my colleague Lambert to speak about the National Oil and Gas Talent Register. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you, Okrach, for the question. Registration of the National Oil and Gas Talent Register requires some of your details, and one of them is the national ID. So the national ID bears your name and the card number. So that is what the system. That's how the system was designed. Because during the design, they envisioned, because the purpose was to, how do we help Uganda participate in the sector? So we included that requirement of the need and or the requirement of national ID. So you need to have a physical copy of your national ID, because this information that is provided is also verified with the National Identification Registration Authority. So once you provide, so it's verified. So what you do now, you say, I don't have a national ID. I encourage you to get to register for national ID, not only to register the National Oil and Gas Register, but also for other use, because some employers nowadays ask employees or applicants to submit copies of their IDs, national IDs. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think that last part is very important. These days, to open a bank account, you need a national ID. So if you start working or internship and they want to pay you, how will they pay you if you don't have a national ID? So, this is part of formalization of systems. To register for voting, you need a national ID. To what else? To driving permit, you need a national ID. Passport, you need a national ID. So friends, please get a national ID. These days, I have a daughter in P1. These days they are even giving them learners identification numbers. Because as a citizen of the country, you need to be identifiable. So please get a national ID. Don't look at it as an impediment or something to stop you. We talk a lot about digital transformation, and this is part of digital transformation. You have to have a national ID. So my friend, I hope you get a national ID. Thank you. I'll hand over to Grace, who will take us through, Mr. MC, through the next part of the career talk.
Thank you, Gloria. Can I give her another hand? Hope your questions have been answered and we're still around. So for the next session, I'm going to welcome my colleagues to take us through their career journey. So first we'll have Bruce. You understand?
Thank you, Grace. And, thank you, Nkumba University. My name is Bruce Namara, for the team that came in a bit late. Good afternoon. Like Karen had earlier introduced myself, my name is Bruce Namara. I'm a geophysicist with the Petroleum Authority of Uganda. For school, just like most of us here, I did petroleum geoscience and production from Makerere University. I was part of the team that reviewed your curriculum, and I can tell you we did almost the same things you guys are doing. It's just a bit of a small difference in naming. Ours is petroleum geoscience and production, and I've seen yours is petroleum and minerals geosciences. But in terms of the curriculum, in terms of the course content, it was more or less the same. Where I sit, I've managed to supervise some of the students from Nkumba that have come for internship at PAU, together with students from other universities, Makerere, Mara University, and Chambogo. And I can confidently tell you that in Nkumba University, you are in the right place. Now, that was my bachelor's course. After that, I went back to school. I did an MSc in exploration geophysics from the University of Leeds, and then continued now. Currently, I'm doing an MBA in Makerere University. What I'm trying to tell you now is you don't have to look at yourself stopping at bachelor's. After bachelor's, continue, learn, and learn. Learning never stops. That's one thing my supervisors always tell me. Learning never stops. In terms of work, I'll start with internship. For internship, like Gloria has been saying, I also didn't start in oil and gas. I did my internship with an hydrogeology company. Now, it's not related to oil and gas, but in terms of operation, we do similar things like they do in these water companies. I worked with a team that was doing water siting. Now, in water siting, that's where you go, them is on ground, they send you to the field. You look for where water is from the surface. You started looking at the surface things you can see and say, probably here there is water. If you see these trees that have deeper roots, you can see the anthills, things that live on water. So you can look at something and say, now, from now I'm looking at this place, there is water. But now that doesn't stop it. We use some geophysical methods we use to determine where water could be. The same methods we use for oil and gas. after siting water or where you're going to drill now, you work with a team that is drilling the borehole, these normal boreholes we have. They use the same principle that we use in drilling for oil and gas. So in case you fail to secure an internship in oil and gas, you can go to any other industry or any other aspect and you're going to get there, if I can be sure. In terms of my skills, apart from being a geophysicist and of course that basic software that we use, I am a sports personnel. I do commentary in sports, but basically basketball, and I like coding. And maybe on the batting shots, one thing I will give you guidance on is learn to show up. If they say, let me say now it's been you coming with career guidance talk, show up and show up in time. If it's Total, if it's any other company, it can be Total, it can be Sinop, it can be UNO, it can be our service providers, Slambage and all that. Show up and show up in time. I'm sure they've been telling you about national ID. They deal with people. For us, we are scientists, we don't deal a lot with people. We tell you the truth. If it's a government program, show up for it also. If they say now they are giving out national IDs, just go and get a national ID. No one is going to take you serious in this Uganda if you don't have a national ID. So, one thing I can tell you, try to show up for any program, for any session, for anything. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. Any questions for Bruce? Any questions? Any key takeaways? If you have no questions, something you've picked up in his session.
My name is Akanjush Kahenyo. My question goes to Mr. Namara. Apart from hydrogeology, how can we get internship
During my first job, so I didn't take you through my career growth in terms of jobs. I did my internship with a hydrogeology company in Rizera. It was ECOWAS. Like I've told you, we did water siting.
A few lessons that might apply to you. When I finished university, I didn't manage to secure employment immediately. So what I did was to actually enroll for my master's immediately. So while I was doing my master's, I got my first opportunity and I was invited to work at New Plan, where I happened to work at the ECO project as a GIS analyst. And the lesson there I want to say, dear colleagues, is once you get your opportunity, first of all, make it count. Make sure that the people see you, you make a difference, and that the people will continue to recommend you. Because once I landed my first opportunity, for me it was a breakthrough. From there, I got to be known as the GIS person, even in our institution where I was working, because I was only one of two. So we were at a project where we were more than 1,000 employees, and everyone knew me as the GIS person. So when opportunities would come around, people would always recommend me. They would always call. All my opportunities have come through colleagues, so it's just a lesson to always take networking very seriously. So some of the other skills I have, apart from GIS, like I mentioned, I did land surveying, I do project management, I do database management, among others. My message to you today, dear colleagues, is that opportunities won't come prepared. Never fear to apply for opportunities. You get ready along the way. Also, always ensure to increase your skill base. For me particularly, when I finished, I knew I couldn't sit because I didn't have a job. So I went back to school. So I encourage you, some of you might be lucky enough to land a job immediately. Some may not be able to land immediately. Always ensure that you increase your knowledge base. Find something to do, whether going back to school, whether learning a new skill. There's a lot of information online, fortunately, in this era. You can always learn a new skill on YouTube. Wherever you choose to learn a new skill, always learn a new skill in your waiting season. One of my highlights, career highlights, was being recognized with a SAG award, that's a Special Achievements in GIS. I won this as the Petroleum Authority GIS team. It was given to us in San Diego, California. One of the takeaways for us was because we didn't settle, we didn't think that because we are Ugandans we can't win an international award. We kept improving, kept getting ourselves better. So I invite you to always learn, always find a new skill, and never stop learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Any questions for Brian?
Oh, sorry. I planned this question for Miss Gloria Sadikari. Sorry, I got a lot from you, but sorry for taking.
It's okay.
All right. The question that has been hitting me badly is, what role can students play now, even before graduating, in contributing to the growth of Uganda's oil and gas industry? And how can the government make it an interesting course in the universities and institutions? Can we play with the things like innovations and in each university, not like for all? Thank you.
Any questions?
Thank you very much. This comes as a blessing in disguise. Now, I had something from Mr. Namara. I had a good foundation on what you've come up with. But I think, I don't know how we would advise students regarding the era we are in of AI, especially looking at how the CVs are tailored. And then, secondly, the challenge of having a viable digital footprint. We're talking about LinkedIn, such areas. And then you talked about something important about skills. What skills currently would you advise the students to take on, either during that period of job search that will make them valuable? Then there is that post-job search period. What skills would they adopt? Then the other thing is, I don't know if you will advise on the aspect to do with character. The biggest challenge we have with most students, upon graduating, the perception is the transcript carries more weight than the person's character. Yet in the employment world, there is a lot to desire in relation to character. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more questions? Thank you. I hope I can remember all the questions. It was quite a bit. You mentioned about the role of AI in this generation. What we've noticed is students or people, young professionals, like to leave everything to AI. There is ethical use to AI, but you can't leave everything to AI. You can't just type in, do for me an application and expect everything to come from AI. Take your time, sit down, do the work for yourself, and let AI just polish up for you. So there is a place for AI, but there is also misuse of AI. So my advice would simply be that do not let AI do your work completely. At least we've not reached a level where it can. It will be detectable, first of all. So you may actually lose out on an opportunity because you left it to AI. You mentioned digital presence and digital branding. We have experts here in branding. They'll be very happy to answer that. You also mentioned character versus transcript. I just want to mention that once you have the CV, which is the qualification, it's only the first step. It's only a step that will get you on the shortlist, and that's all. Beyond the shortlist, no one is looking at your transcript. They are looking at the soft skills, they are looking at your ability to perform the job. So once you don't have the right character, even if you manage to get the job, you might actually lose it if you can't work with colleagues. So my advice would actually be that take time to do a self-assessment, always. Take time to learn a new skill, take time to improve, self-improvement. Character is not something that is set in stone, it can always be improved. So always take positive feedback. If your colleague criticizes a part of your life, a part of your work ethic, take it positively. Always be ready to learn, always be ready to change for the good. I don't know what was the other question? Was that all?
Skills in your search period.
Job
search period. What skills can you acquire as you learn?
Yeah. You also mentioned the skills before while you're searching, and also skills after you get the job. So while you're searching, there are skills that are very desirable for the employers, apart from the character-related skills that we talked about already. But there are things that almost any employer will be interested in. For example, I don't know many jobs where you're going to work and not have to produce a report. And during my university years, report writing was one of those things I didn't like to do, because it would consume a lot of time, think about what to write. So
start to learn some of those skills. How to write a report, how to be formal, how to address people. Those will be very important. Even when you walk into the interview room, how you conduct yourself. Those will be very important while you're looking for a job. But once you have the job, I think for me, and my colleagues will add on to this, I think for me, like I mentioned, it's very important to keep learning. And that cuts across. There is no particular field where you should stop learning. That is character-wise, you should always improve. But also, your particular job that you're being given. For example, if you get a job as a geoscientist, the world is changing, the technologies are changing. You can't keep doing the same thing you're doing while you got the job. So it's always an opportunity for you to grow in terms of skill. New softwares are coming up, always stay updated. So my view is that once you get the job, just keep learning, don't settle. You will notice, for example, and this is something that may or might not come out, is that the staff at the Petroleum Authority are very, very educated. You'll find that across the board, almost everyone has a master's or 2 masters, some even have 3 masters. Because the culture there is that we never settle, always keep learning. Thank you.
All right, I'll answer the question on leaving a digital footprint. I'm sure most of us are on social media, right? Are we on social media? Even WhatsApp is social media. Do you know that WhatsApp is a social media? So you're not on WhatsApp. As long as if you're on WhatsApp, that's also social media. You're participating in the groups. So LinkedIn, Instagram, X, Facebook, Snapchat, TikTok. And when you are still at university, it can seem like, you can post whatever you want. And we have freedom of expression in Uganda. However, just be mindful, always be mindful that the digital space remembers anything you post today, 10 years later someone can bring it up. And so even as you think about your career and you want to express yourself, just be mindful that that post you put now, a comment you make in a group can be screenshot, and it's part of your digital footprint. In regards to building your career on your social, digitally, even just updating your socials from this event, you are attending this event, what you picked out is you are building a brand, and you will see some from this. You're building a brand. It's part of your, I think here it would be networking, let me see. So yeah, you are building your professional brand. Even now, don't wait until you have your job, your dream job, start building your professional brand. Even now you are building an identity digitally. So start now. Because some people here, I have not yet shared my career journey, but some of the opportunities I have found were through LinkedIn. Someone was working on a consultancy and they needed a communications person to assist them. And they phoned me on LinkedIn. They found out that I had worked on a project similar to what they are working on, and they asked me if I had time to work on it. And I got money and also experience. I never worked on something that big. So keep sharing. Even from your classes, just sharing what you're learning from your classes. You are showing an employer that you're an engaged student. And if you're an engaged student, usually you'll also be an engaged worker. So it's part of, you can use your digital footprint to stand out. It will show where your efforts are, what your interest, the kind of things you're interested in. It will show that you can communicate effectively. I know AI has come to help us, as Brian said. Please apply yourself when as you're using AI. You might ask AI to help you draft your communication, your update from this, but apply yourself. You know, sometimes it has that language that is so AI, it is very off-putting. So lend your voice to AI. Let it read like you. Yeah. Also, as I mentioned, your digital footprint will show you both your weaknesses and your strengths. I'm not saying again, I will stress, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be yourself, because again, you have to be authentic. Someone should be able to see your character, your personality should come through your digital footprint. Again, don't be too serious. You can have a bit of fun, but it should be something that will help you grow, and not something that will show only your weaknesses. So I hope I have answered that question on a digital footprint. Yeah. Also, even your username, please. I don't know if you follow on X. There's a guy who was asking for more details on a job. I think to Pepsi or Coca-Cola, and their username was a very offensive username. And Pepsi responded and said, "But now your username is causing us problems with HR. So please, as you choose your username, use your beautiful name that you are given. It's not so wrong. So just be mindful of the kind of username you are using. That goes even for email. Your email is a part of your digital footprint. For your email, please don't put sexylegs26@gmail.com. That communicates something different. You don't sound professional. So yeah. So that's what I will say briefly on the digital footprint. I'm passionate about communication, and so I just thought I would add, our PAU page gets so many messages from students, and one weakness in many of these messages is the way the messages are written. Because we are in the era of social media, maybe X, you have a limited number of characters, so you're writing this, that, organization, in short. There are all those short forms that we have been conditioned to write because we are chatting with our friends, and we are transferring that into the professional workspace. And so I just thought I would emphasize, when you're writing a message, especially on a professional platform, or to me individually on LinkedIn asking for information, do not say "Good afternoon, dear." I have a name. Say "Good afternoon, Gloria." Good afternoon. If you want to use Madam, really, I don't need Madam, but if you want to use it, that's what they say. Learn how to use formal language in a formal setting. Don't say "Good afternoon, dear," when you're speaking to Grace. Dear is now very common. Everyone uses dear, even me, once in a while. And then secondly, when you are writing a message on social media and you want some information, do not just write "hi" and then stop there and wait for me to reply. Remember, your message is competing with 1,000 messages coming in on, whether it's the PAU platform or my personal platform. So write what you want. Say "Good evening, I am inquiring about internship opportunities," and finish the message. Don't just write "Good evening, I have so many highs, hi. I have so many hi messages. I try to respond, but most of them I don't respond when you've just said hi, because it's so, and these are skills that you will build. You have to start somewhere. When you're writing your CV, when you're writing your application letter, when you're writing an email inquiring for internship, write a full email. Don't write "Hi, how are you?" like it's a WhatsApp message. Write "Good morning." If we had a blackboard, I would show you. Write "Good morning, hope your day was well. My name is blah 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 from Nkumba University, studying blah blah blah. I'm inquiring about and sign off with your name. Many people do not sign off with their name at the end of emails, and it goes back to what Grace said. Many of us, even me, my first email address was gloriaforever@gmail.com, but I had to change it to my full name, gloriaserikari@gmail.com.
gmail.com so that you're easily identifiable. Thank you.
I realize I also didn't answer that the question you asked about how you can be, the practical things you can do as a student right now to stand out. Was that what you asked? Even as a student, beyond what government can do, I'll start with what you can do, what you have control over. Because what government can do is already this is part of it, coming to the students and bringing information. But you can network. What you're doing now is it's a good step. You can, what some of the things we have been doing, if you follow our social media pages, if you visit our website, it has a lot of information on not just opportunities, but even on the things you are studying. If you want to do, for example, research, as Laura shared earlier, can assist you if you're doing your research, your final research, and you need either information, you want to interview some people, you have our contacts now, you can volunteer. Some of these organizations, the oil and gas organizations, have volunteering opportunities. So you're building your experience. And then also maintain professional etiquette, the things that we mentioned earlier, Bruce also mentioned earlier. When the opportunities show up, and show up on time, present yourself well, speak up, and this kind of engagement, ask questions, then follow up. When we give you the feedback, I think they've already shared the feedback form, provide feedback. Sometimes feedback can be a follow-up in an email after this. You send Bruce an email and you introduce yourself, regular as said, and you thank them for what they did or for the presentation they made. You just keep in touch. So keep showing up for things like this. Yeah. So now I want to welcome Lambert. Take us through the next career sharing.
Thank you very much, Grace. During this seminar period, in 2012, I was a group from New Vision came to speak to us. I was a student at Makerere University at the time. So they told us about New Vision and how nice the company is, so flowery. So this company must be nice to work with. So, but at least when and I was in position to understand actually how that company was functioning. So at the time I wished I could work with New Vision. I mean, because of the way these people were talking. So I asked the question, how can one join? I think I asked something related to joining or working with New Vision. Then the managing director then, Mr. Robert Kabushenga, told me, oh, you can come and do internship at New Vision. Just come and tell them, I've asked, just come and say, say, come to my office and we shall give you internship. But then there was one thing. I was doing Bachelor of Arts with Education, English, Language, Literature. So education and going, so as a teacher, the person who is training as a teacher, you cannot do internship in a media house. So you have to go to a school. So I have to go, by that time I'd already gotten a school to do my school practice. At School of Education, it's not called internship, they call it school practice. And I know a number of you interacted with student teachers. So I finished my course, started teaching. So after teaching, as I continued, one time I saw an advert in the New Vision. So they needed an editor. So and they were putting, we need someone who has done journalism or English language. They said English language or literature, and that's what I did. So I applied, went for, so eventually I got a job. So I left, so I moved from education to the media. So I went now work at New Vision. I was so happy that the desire that I had at the time came to pass, because I really had no idea that someone could cross from education to the media. So during that time I started writing. I would write articles. At least I'm certain, even right now, if I wrote an article and I sent it, it would be published. So that is what that's what I did. So when I worked on New Vision, writing, editing, I was doing all that and other few things. Designing the newspaper, the news, we call it laying newspaper pages, the way you find the newspaper, the way the newspaper is, I did that. But let me engage the reverse gear. So when I was teaching, I had enrolled for a master's for my master's. So a master's in HR. So I felt I needed to widen my knowledge. I didn't want to focus. I love literature. So when I went to, so I continued. So by the time I joined New Vision, I was already doing my master's. So of course I continued. So I completed it well at New Vision. Of course, they were not related at all. You are doing education, you are doing journalism, and you're studying human resource management. Totally different. I think I have had my career path is different from other people. Maybe my sister will tell you, my colleague Grace will tell you, for me, I studied journalism and did and communication, and she's in communication. Oh, Gloria. So mine is different. So PAU advertised and another job that they needed someone who studied education at bachelor's or education at master's or human resource at bachelor's and or human resource management at master's. So I did education at bachelor's, I had human resource management at master's. I think I was there. But they also needed someone who had, so they said, another advantage if you've worked in oil and gas, because I hadn't worked in oil and gas. So I said, oh, since there's another advantage, it's not key. So that's how I joined Petroleum Authority of Uganda. My name is Opruf Lambert. I work as the National Content Officer, Manpower Regulation. So in manpower regulation, one of the things the system that I manage is the National Oil and Gas Talent Register. So if you apply in that register, I will see, I will review your application. Then the other thing, so since I started now I was now managing the system, I went back to school to study information systems management. As I said, I've studied different things, so if you ask me which path to take, I will tell you, I will not say that all roads lead to Rome, but I will say we need to keep trying, we need to keep having hope. You might not start with the PAU. I had a friend, I had a colleague who was, when I was at Makerere, so when I was studying petroleum, my roommate was studying petroleum geoscience. So I was doing education. At least I knew at no one point in life would we work in the same institution. I know I'm for school, So I will be a teacher. For him, he will be in the rig. So I knew that, but things changed, and now we work in the same organization. So it's a beautiful, it's a beautiful story, but it's also sometimes a long journey. So if for the first time, if you cannot join a certain institution, join somewhere where you can build your career, where you can start. You might want to work in Total. You might not get an opportunity to work in Total. But if there is an opportunity to work in another organization, please take it up. And reading and we are continuing to improve yourself is a good thing. So and I encourage you to continue learning. I mean, no one will execute you because you learn something. So I read news because of my journalism or the media experience. So I make sure that I'm informed, read other things. I like psychology. I like things that engage. I like reading things that engage my mind. So what can I tell the student of Nkumba today? Just as my ambition was started many years ago, I can also tell you, continue having your ambitions, having your dreams, pursuing them, but in case you can't achieve them at the time, since I could not go through New Vision, at the time when I was a student, I joined the New Vision after I had left school. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lambert. For now, we'll take the next sharing, then we'll ask questions after. I'll invite Brian.
Yes, good afternoon. Yeah, my name is Dennis Gawi. I'm currently the Systems Administrator at Petroleum Authority of Uganda. My background is in academics. I did a Bachelor of Science in Software Engineering, and currently I'm finalizing my Master's in Information Technology, both at Makerere University. So after doing my bachelor's degree, I did not get directly an IT job. I started as an administrator in the health sector in an NGO, and I worked there for some time. But as work was going on, there are systems that were being developed and that were intended to be used in the health sector. So I seized the opportunity. I'm just sharing this because we've had different backgrounds from my colleagues. So wherever you start from, just to know you have to be present, you have to be creative and seize the opportunity. So in that still same organization, I managed to lead development of 2 key systems for standards assessments. I know we have environmentalists, so we are making sure that the standards are in place. So how I joined PAU, it was back in 2019 when I registered with the National Oil and Gas Talent Register. I just registered like my colleagues were doing, and last year I was given a call, just a phone call. They said there is an opportunity, can you come for an interview? So when my colleague was sharing that you need a national ID, you need to register, you have to be prepared as you transition from the student that you are now, make sure that you're ready for the opportunity. Then the other aspect is to keep learning. At least all my colleagues you've had, they've gone back to school. I'm also at school finalizing my master's in IT. And after that, I'll do something else. So you have to keep improving yourself personally so that you have something that attracts you. Sometimes I sit down and think, what intrigued someone in the system to look at my CV and say, this guy is the right one for that job. So however small you start, you have to make sure that you do it diligently. So I just want to highlight just my work, my role at PAU. We know that technology is cross-cutting. Whether you're in the health sector, whether you're in the oil and gas sector, you have to use information technology. We have computers, we have mobile phones, and all these, they are part of the information technology. And they use to make sure that security is up there, to make sure that you're not hacked, to make sure that you have a digital footprint that was taken care of. All this comes in while using information technology. So my role is to support all these different departments because every department they use IT. And one other factor is soft skills. How do you interact with people? Can you listen and understand what the issue is and provide a solution? So you have to be creative. So in my role, I interact with the scientists, interact with everyone. So that soft skill of being able to interact with people and working with teams. Because in the, for example, the ICT department, we have people doing security, we have people doing data management, we have people doing networks. Because even whatever is done in the field, in the rigs, in the drilling wells, they have to reflect somewhere on a dashboard. So there are so very many skills that you can develop. You can look at data management, the use of data to make sure that it speaks. Because data is something that we use to make decisions. So you can have that specific skill to add on your course to make sure that even when you're given an opportunity, you're able to present yourself. So we run a data center, we have different systems that are used to monitor field work, both at work, and my role is integral to make sure that both the ICT department enables everyone to work efficiently. And like my colleague said, next time it is best we have everyone in the room because this knowledge is really very important. So I think that's what I can share, and in case of any questions, I'll be around. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another hand clap for my colleagues. I'm wrapping up and then we'll hand back to the MC. We've taken a lot of your time, but we hope that you have found value from it. Okay, now turn to your neighbor and tell them one thing you've learned in the next 30 seconds. Yes. Tell your neighbor and make sure your neighbor, those on the phone, please look up and talk to your neighbor. Even our tech team, please, I hope you've learned something. Personally, I've also learned a lot about my colleagues. Many of these colleagues, we are in different departments, sit sit on different floors, rarely interact, you know, and I've learned a lot about each of their career journeys. As they all emphasize, there's always something to learn. There is always something new to learn, and that's why each one of them talk to you about what they've been through. I won't go through my career path, but what I will emphasize is that for me, my work life started with internship. When I did my internship, I stood out. I volunteered. I was in the department where I wanted to be, but I was in another section of, there were projects. So I stood out, I volunteered. For us in communication and PR, events are big. So whenever they would be going for events like this and that job of pulling up banners and putting down banners, I would do it. It wasn't in my work, but I would do it. And I gained the eye and favor of the person in charge of PR. So when I came for an interview, they were like, isn't that the girl who used to put up and down our banners? When she was in another, I was doing work in customer care, but I would help banners, you know, so show up. So when they had an opening and I did the interview, I got the job. I didn't have the experience they needed, but I had worked with the organization during internship, and I had shown that I was teachable, interested, and I wanted to learn. The other thing about internship is I've supervised interns who come and go without even giving us a report. That's the most basic thing. So if you know you did not submit your internship report or you're planning not to submit, please, we will remember you. They will remember you and say, that gentleman came here. The weekly reports, as we ask our interns to submit, sometimes weekly, sometimes monthly reports. That one is not to submit their reports, something as basic as that. So that's what they say, stand out, put yourself out there. Do not take it for granted. Even if you're in a place where you don't want to be. Many of us did not start with our dream jobs, our dream careers. Even if you're in a place where you don't want to be, where they are not paying you, many organizations will take you on. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying be exploited. What I'm saying is that show up even when it's hard and do what you are supposed to do, because it might be as a stepping stone. The rest have been said, and always seek to excel. Personally, I'm a bit different from my colleagues. They've studied a lot, masters, paid for by government, Me, most of the courses I've done were on scholarships that I searched for myself. I have done the Chevening Scholarship, that is an annual scholarship that admits hundreds of people every year. I've done Ford Foundation, Australia Works for Africa. So when they're talking about doing your masters as you're waiting, go out there. If you cannot afford to do it yourself, there are opportunities outside the norm. So put yourself out there, prepare. These days there are resources, the internet has a lot. So besides laughing at the TikTok videos that we all laugh at, also put the internet to good use. I know people who do career mentorship that have YouTube platforms, TikTok platforms, and you can get all these resources at your fingertips. Lastly, we have our Oil and Gas Skills Expo coming up. We will invite you. It will be at Makerere University. It's free of charge. There's usually a quiz. I think Nkumba has participated before. There's a quiz. There are all these challenges. They can help you build and interact with other universities, and there will be recruitment firms. There will be some of the contractors we talked about. So come and be present. It's free of charge to enter. You might have to invest in your transport if the university doesn't provide it for you. but please, it is worthwhile because there's a lot of information. Kindly bring out your smartphones, scan the QR code. I'm waiting for people to get your camera and please fill in our survey. If it's a very short survey, it will take you less than a minute or so. Please fill out the survey. I'll leave it on the screen even as we close. And thank you once again for coming. Please do clap for yourselves. Our intention is not to make this a one-off. We will be in touch with you, Madam Amelia, to see how we can build on this. We may not be able to engage everyone as individuals, but our hope is that we can keep building on this as we also give back as people who have developed professionally. Thank you very much, and I wish you all a blessed day and the rest of the week. Thank you. Over to you, MC.
I will request another thunderous clap for the team really. They have really done such interesting thing. You know, getting knowledge. There is a quote, I've just forgotten the writer, that the person that you are today and the person that you will be in the near future will depend on two things: the books you read and the people that you meet. So this is such an interesting thing from Bao. We are glad and we are grateful for this session. So the next thing on, before this, because I'm always here, I will share with you. The next thing on our program is closure, and we shall receive closing remarks from Bao and from the university as we round up. Then after, we shall have group photos, and you did mention about the national register, how they register, the procedures. Do you know how they register for the national register? Oh.
Okay, I'll leave the link on, and we'll be around for the next 30 or so minutes in case people have one-on-one questions or the like. Yeah. So, but the link is noctr.pau.go.uk.
Okay, so closing remarks.
So those were my questions.
Okay, thank you. From the university.
Thank you, Paul. We really appreciate you. We really appreciate the skills, the knowledge we've acquired from you. How many of you have taken some information? You people are excited? Should we invite them again? You heard her last statement. She said that she will be coming back soon with her team. Will we please give them a very big hand clap? Thank you. Members, I'm sure we all have social media platforms, right? We have smartphones. Let us put those social media platforms to good use. They insisted on something, professional growth. After your bachelor's degree, please try to make sure you try to go back to school if you can. Try to ensure that you look for scholarship if you can't afford going to pay tuition for yourself. There are very, very many opportunities online. Please try to look out for them, members. Members, try to be relevant wherever you are. Try to be very, very relevant. They have told you to keep standing up, show up, and of course, ensure that your presence is always recognized in one way or the other, but of course, in a positive way, right? Yes. Be mindful of the names you use on social media, because they may not identify you. Okay, members? Yes. The team from PAO would wish to inform you, but that the next time you come around, we shall be in position to also invite other members from other courses. This was mainly information given to these members that are here. That's why we have these numbers. Next time we shall have members from maybe the business and of course ICT and social science groups. Other than that, we wish to commit ourselves to ensuring that we are always available wherever you need us. And of course, we've always attended the expos and we look forward to the third expo. Thank you so much. So members, as we close, please feel free to engage with the members. Ask anything you want, as long as it is in line with what we've discussed. And of course, if you want to register with the National Registry, please also do the same. Thank you so much.
I'll invite my colleagues to come. We want to hand over. Thank you. We want to take a photo with the academic team and maybe some of the student leaders. We've come with these two books. One can be for the library in a central place, and then another one you choose where to place it, maybe at your department or anything, but it just documents Uganda's oil journey up until 2022. Yeah, so we'll start to update it, but it's a coffee table book with a lot of pictures and information. Yeah, we have also a small token. We couldn't bring everything for everyone, but the first, I think, 10 or so people got a notebook or a pen or both. We'll also give a vacuum bottle to the head of department for helping us coordinate, and also the student leader, Edwin. Yes. The chief person coordinating. Please come.